So, I haven't made a Clone Wars related video in a while, and while we're all waiting for the new Bad Batch show, I thought it'd be fun to rank all the seasons of Clone Wars. Clone Wars is my all-time favorite TV show, and surprisingly it was very hard to create this list. Legit, this was the hardest list I think I've ever had to make. It's funny because in every season of the Clone Wars we get that arc that just absolutely blows you away, that arc that makes you go, oh, yeah, that was good. And that arc that just kinda makes you question why on earth someone made this. But I finally made a ranking I'm somewhat happy with, but before I get into it, I just want to say if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. At number 7, I have Season 1. I think most people can agree this is the weakest season. Some people even hate this season and tell new people not to watch it. And I somewhat agree with that. I think if someone's trying to get into Clone Wars, I definitely wouldn't recommend starting with Season 1, but I think this season is far from bad. It's got some really great episodes. I think it's actually crucial to watch this because this season heavily develops the clones from the pilot, to rookies, to the episode where the clones have to track down a traitor in their ranks, and so many more. I don't think the animation is that dated. I mean, obviously it doesn't look as good as the rest of the season, but I wouldn't call it bad. Anyway, I think it's kinda telling that this is the last place, and I don't even think it's that bad. At number 6, I have Season 3. The first 2 episodes start out really strong, giving us some really good clone-centric stories, and delves deep into a lot of origins into how they're trained, how they're created, and so much more. But from episode 3 all the way until 15, I would honestly just skip all those episodes because it's pretty uninteresting. You got a lot of one-off episodes, Padme episodes, which honestly are Jar Jar level bad, and some other useless episodes I can barely even remember. It's not until you get to the part with how the Force is kept in balance where things start to get really interesting. After this we get the Citadel arc, which is also probably some of the most intense stuff in the Clone Wars in my opinion, and the 1-hour finale with Chewbacca is honestly just really good. It's just such a shame there was a surplus of unnecessary episodes in this season because there's some really good arcs in here. At number 5, I have Season 2. Again, this is the other season that gets a lot of flack for some reason, and it's really freaking good, man. We get a whole arc dedicated to a villain, like, when does that ever happen? And I don't mean Ventress, who's kind of wishy-washy, I mean full-on villain Cad Bane gets his own arc, and it's great. Next up, a lot of people talk about the Umbara arc as being the best war-centric arc, and I'd agree, but the Geonosis battle is incredibly action-packed and engaging. This is also one of the most unique arcs because it's not one continuous story, and each episode switches up its genre. It ranges from full-on war, zombies, and an alien-type episode where heroes are bottled up in a ship in space forced to kill innocent clones. And the 1-hour episode entitled The Deserter is just absolutely phenomenal. This episode shows what it'd be like for a clone who's programmed to serve in war, actually left to live his own life and raise a family. It raises a lot of philosophical questions because he's contrasted with Rex, who's so loyal to the Republic and serving in war, and it's fascinating seeing this clash of ideologies. Towards the latter half though, it starts to lose me, and randomly at Season 2 episode 16 is the first episode for some reason. But it ends very strongly with young Boba Fett trying to kill Mace Windu, and it's just super riveting stuff. Up next at number 4, I have Season 7. This may surprise some of you because you all know how much I love that series finale, even calling it the best Star Wars movie. But since I'm ranking these by seasons, the other 8 episodes do not have the same weight as the last 4. The first 4 are, they're good. They're not amazing, but they're good. But wow, the next 4 with Trace and Rafa is legitimately some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in the Clone Wars.
Think of all the good you could do if we deliver the spice to someplace else instead of the Pikes.
Think of all the good you can do by helping us finish this job.
I said no one is taking my ship!
Oh, God, kill me.
I'm still ranking this season really high though because it's only 12 episodes, so it doesn't matter all that much if there's 4 bad episodes, and the finale carries the season so much. At number 3, I have Season 5. Okay, so I don't know what was going on in the first half of the season. The first episode is freaking great. It just has Darth Maul fighting Obi-Wan, and it's just really, really good stuff, but for some reason it's only 1 episode, and you have to irritatingly wait like another 12 episodes to get a continuation, which is kinda annoying. And wow, those 12 episodes in between are really bad. You get this Rebel arc, it's pretty standard Clone Wars stuff. I don't really think it's that bad actually, it's just fine. It's really the next two arcs that are just insufferable. For some brief background, Cartoon Network wanted the Clone Wars to branch out and create some spin-offs strictly for kids since, well, you know, the Clone Wars ain't exactly kid-friendly at times. The funny thing being that these spin-offs never happen, so these episodes are just pointless. We get 4 consecutive episodes of Ahsoka training Padawans, and I couldn't be more tuned out. Then we get another 4 consecutive episodes of droids just rummaging around a planet. There's not even any subtitles when the droids are speaking, so half the time you have no idea what the heck is happening, and you're essentially just relying on this annoying ass general to do all the paraphrasing for you. And then we randomly get one misplaced godly episode in the middle of this arc with Gregor, but my god, it cannot save it. And you want to know a fun fact about this arc? It's George Lucas's favorite arc in all of the Clone Wars.
Well, my favorite, I can remember. It's the one with the droids.
Oh, when they're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That one's up there because who in the world would make that?
Yep. Take of that what you will. Thank God after this we get one of the best arcs in the series where things start to really heat up on Mandalore, and it's visually some of the most stunning stuff in the Clone Wars, and narratively it can get pretty heartbreaking. And season 5 then ends superbly with Ahsoka's arc, which is easily one of the most cinematic looking episodes in the series. The arc is mixed in this detective noir story where Ahsoka is being framed for a crime she didn't commit, and it's one of, if not the most engaging Clone Wars arcs ever. So even though the season had an incredibly rocky start, it's ranked this high because those last 2 arcs are just that good. At number 2 I have season 6. Again, this season is only like 13 episodes, so there's less room for really boring, useless arcs. There's only one really bad arc with Jar Jar Binks, but thankfully it's only like 2 episodes. So this season is easily the cleanest since there's at least 11 out of 13 episodes that are at the very least good or better. To start the season, we get the most heartbreaking arc in the entirety of the Clone Wars.
Oh, you're a clone, huh? Look, just shut up and drive. Okay, you got it.
It has that mystery, noir, thriller vibe, kinda in the vein of that Ahsoka arc, but it's mixed in with Echo getting to the bottom of Order 66, making this extremely compelling. This was the first arc I was able to binge since this is the first time where the Clone Wars was moved to Netflix, and yeah, this works so well just watching it like it's a movie. The next arc we get this Clovis thing, and it's alright, not much to talk about there. And I'm just gonna skip the Jar Jar arc, y'all already know it's terrible. But wow, moving on to the last arc, we get even more information about Order 66, and we get this hugely philosophical, mind-bending last few episodes of Yoda learning how to live after death. The visuals are absolutely stunning, and the episodes themselves are incredibly immersive and enthralling. It was also the last arc for the Clone Wars, or at least we thought it was for a while, and honestly if it did end here, I think it would work fine as a series finale. And by process of elimination, you guys probably already know what my pick is for the best season. At number 1, I got season 4. Again, this was really hard because while I think most of the best arcs are in 5, 6, and 7, this was easily the most consistently good season to me. Clone Wars isn't a serialized show, so that's pretty much why it's so hard to rank the seasons, at least for me. But anyway, we start off with a pretty good arc that's all taking place underwater. This is a pretty above average Clone Wars arc that deals in politics and overall has some nice solid action. The next 2 episodes, well, you remember how I said each season has that arc that makes you just question life? Yeah, well, this is the one. But it's only 2 episodes, so I'm just gonna move on. The next arc is Umbara, and this one is easily a 10 out of 10. This was released in 2011 on a freaking Cartoon Network budget, and quite frankly, it's still able to compete with a lot of animation these days, even 10 years later. The visuals are absolutely stunning and really immerses you into this war. It also shows us how the clones have their own thoughts and free will, which makes Order 66 so much more tragic. This arc is entirely built around the fact that you know one day clones will be mind controlled into committing war crimes for the rest of their life, and this makes this arc absolutely genius. Then we get a 3-episode arc about slavery. It's thematically pretty deep, and we get to see more darkness clouding Anakin. It's nothing top tier, but I enjoy this arc. At episode 14, we probably have one of the best standalone episodes of Ahsoka encountering Death Watch, and again, the visuals are just so good. After this, we get such an awesome arc where Obi-Wan fakes his death to go undercover and prevent the assassination of Chancellor Palpatine. Like, doesn't just hearing that make you want to go watch that arc right now? It's just so good. We get to see Obi-Wan infiltrate prison and slowly work his way up with the other criminals, even try to gain their trust. It's an absolutely riveting episode and I just loved it so much. Then we end the season off with Asajj Ventress fighting Dooku and Grievous, and the cool thing about this arc is that each episode naturally bleeds into a new story that's still interconnected. We go from Ventress to Savage to Maul to Obi-Wan, and then it all culminates. Each episode is also visually distinct from one another. We get a lot of hard orange, purple, yellow, and red colors. It's just very distinctive and visually engaging. A lot of people were skeptical about Darth Maul returning, but wow. His introduction is just the coolest thing ever. So yeah, out of 22 episodes, I really just don't like 2 of them, so that's why I think this is the best season, even though there are much better arcs later on in the series. Maybe one day I'll do a video ranking my favorite arcs of Clone Wars, because that might be a little easier to talk about. But anyway, what do you guys think of my ranking? Do you agree with my choices? I'd love to know what you guys would rank the seasons, because quite frankly, I don't think there's an easy answer to this. But if you guys enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could leave a like and subscribe. It'd really help me out. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.